Soft, luxuriant green, flecked with delicate white blossoms, reaching out across the floor of the land where it embraces the lofty Grand Tetons. Here in the fertile expanse of the West is home for that welcome guest at tables all over the world, the American potato. Once regarded as a bulwark against famine, the potato today has taken on an exciting new look. Success in that wondrous new career must depend on the careful application of man's growing scientific knowledge, coupled with the resources provided by a bountiful nature. In the late spring, soil that will yield abundantly must be plowed and worked to just the right texture for the seedbed. Elements taken from the soil by previous crops may be restored by plowing under a green crop such as alfalfa. Rich in nitrogen, the alfalfa plant also adds excellent humus, increasing water-holding capacity. Feeling the compelling urge of the growing season, the eyes of the seed potatoes show the first signs of new life. These potatoes are tested, certified Blue Label seed stock, true potato aristocrats. Raised in disease-free seclusion, they boast a heritage of quality and top production. No longer a tedious hand chore, cutting seed potatoes is a mechanized operation, as these escalator cups take the tubers through the blades, which cut them into the required number of pieces. The larger potatoes use disinfectant, and they are ready for planting. In the continuing process of mechanical evolution, new machines, such as this novel seed cutter, bring further labor saving in sizing potatoes automatically before they are sacrificed to the keen blades. A truckload of 7 tons of blue blood seed is being positioned for the elevator, which will send a flood of seed into the planter bins. And with no delay, the 2-row planter swings into action across the smooth seed bed. With mechanical precision, the seed pieces are planted at the right depth and spacing. A giant of the field is this 4-row planter, which carries large quantities of commercial fertilizer in its copious bins, as well as uncounted sacks of seed, which in this case are loaded by hand, with a sack on top of each bin for good measure. Fully loaded and ready for action, the planter sets its blades into the soil and moves out across the waiting field, leaving its furrowed wake in testimony of the magic placed beneath the surface of the ground. A cutaway view shows thin bands of fertilizer on each side of the seed for future nourishment. Regular cultivation helps keep down weeds and promotes growth. The growing plants respond eagerly to the gentle influence of water, which unlocks the rich nutrients in the soil. Regularity and sufficiency of supply means that methodical irrigation is the answer to steady and constant growth for strong, mature plants that will produce a high yield. Gentle summer showers from clear skies are dispensed by sprinkler irrigation. But whatever the methods used, all the components that contribute to good growth must be utilized to produce a magnificent field like this. Hastening nature's maturing process, the airplane is called upon to dust the field with chemicals that will prepare the plants for early harvest. More down to earth is the beater, which beats off the top growth, hastening maturity. A heavy roller performs a similar function, preparing the potatoes for harvest. Harvesting potatoes has its dramatic aspects as great machines roll over the land, laying bare to the inquiring eyes of man the rewards for his months of labor and investment. Now the crop is secure from the ravages of weather and pests. The golden flood of rich tubers wrested from the soil are gently elevated and passed into slow-moving trucks, which pace the harvesting machines with unswerving precision. It's a mechanized process with a human touch to ensure maximum efficiency. Careful handling, an important link in getting these fine potatoes to the consumer in good condition, starts here in the field. The canvas cover protects the load from sun and wind while it is transported to grading shed or storage. This large rotary type digger employs rubber buckets to elevate the newly dug potatoes into the truck. Methods of harvesting vary in different sections, but any method that harvests potatoes with a minimum of damage is satisfactory. Authorities are generally agreed that a market potato is only as good as its storage facilities. Potatoes are stored in some areas for many months in these semi-underground caverns before reaching a waiting market. Potato cellar construction is featured by heavy timbers and concrete walls. Roofs are insulated with a layer of baled straw, later covered with soil. Most potato storages are practical rather than elaborate. Adequate insulation, assisting in keeping a uniform temperature regardless of outside heat or cold, is the objective. The Quonset type of storage facility is popular, and prefabricated arches make for rapid construction. The finished building of this type is often covered with metal sheathing, which, properly insulated inside, provides an underground type of storage above ground. Good ventilation is provided by air intakes and outlets. And in winter, heated air maintains the desired storage temperature in these heavily insulated potato castles. Potatoes treated with a sprout inhibitor contrast with untreated tubers that are robbed of their nutritive values. This clever machine literally digs the potatoes out of the storage bins, and the flow of tubers along the belts and into trucks waiting to take them to packing sheds is symbolic of the almost constant flow of potatoes to markets all over the country the year round. Although they may have been in storage for a considerable period of time, these potatoes are just commencing their graduating exercises, which will put them in vegetable markets everywhere in washed and polished perfection. Quickly transported to the grading plant, the potato begins an adventurous career that starts with a good bath in pure water. Not a particle of soil is left on the tubers by these searching sprays. With shining faces, the potatoes travel along endless sorting belts where undersized or bruised specimens are removed. This particular lot is destined for the fresh market. For additional glamour, they receive a thin coating of wax and a polished job from whirling brushes before ascending on this rubber-covered escalator to the automatic sizing machine, which, with a sort of mechanical frenzy, sees to it that potatoes of the same size wind up together. This intricate machine is reserved for aristocrats of the potato world. Only uniform large potatoes, the baking kings, get this treatment, passing over weighing devices which find even so little as an ounce an insurmountable barrier to joining the elite. This somewhat different machine weighs the potatoes as they pass along the belt, and hidden plungers push smaller ones aside, permitting only the cream of the crop to continue on their way. After the select bakers, others make their way to their ultimate destination in a sack bearing the coveted designation US Number 1. Potatoes are graded according to size and appearance. This golden stream is headed for the familiar 10-pound bags ordinarily found in every Progressive vegetable department. Potatoes once sold only in bulk or in 100-pound sacks. Today, good packaging not only enhances the appeal and salability of potatoes, but has enabled the housewife to buy them in quantities suited to her needs. Polyethylene bags in the 5-pound class add a modern touch and are handy to carry home. Many of the finest potatoes go off to market in strong fiberboard cartons, which not only offer maximum protection, but present an eye-catching exterior and a pedigree of origin of these top-notchers. Right on up the endless transport they go, through the door and roll across into waiting Pacific Fruit Express refrigerator cars. Stacked with precision, it will be only a matter of hours until this car and perhaps 100 others like it will be speeding east behind Union Pacific diesels. Back in the packing plant, the aristocrats that weighed the most and looked the best are approaching the peak of their career. The rubber rollers impose their will on every tuber and place proof of its heritage right on the skin of this super baker, which may wind up elegantly displayed through a picture window with 3 of its mates. Neither lack of size nor lack of uniformity have any bearing on the goodness that lies beneath the skin of the potato. While the more handsome members of the family go blithely off to satisfy the demands of the fresh market, less glamorous members of the potato world are prepared in such a great variety of ways to conform to 20th century living and eating habits. On their way to the cutters, these potatoes will come out in the familiar strips of the French fried potato, as American today as the hot dog. A brief immersion in a sugar solution prepares them for the ultimate. But on the way, some off-colored offenders are removed. Cascading off the drum into temperature-controlled frying oil produces a partially cooked French fried potato that needs only browning in a deep-fat fryer to produce those tasty golden strips. Freezing is accomplished almost instantly, and the potatoes are quickly packaged with minimum delay. These large packages go into cartons for the restaurant trade. When any food is frozen, the complexities of shipping, storing, and displaying are compounded. Some of man's greatest ingenuity has been called into play in solving the problems of dependable transportation of frozen products. These mechanical refrigerators will transport frozen foods at exactly the desired temperature, day in and day out, across thousands of miles, in an engineered and finished interior that ensures perfect delivery of a perfect product. Speed is essential in loading frozen products, and forklift trucks give added versatility in moving the cases from cold rooms and enabling rapid loading where loading docks are not available. Once the car is loaded and the doors tightly sealed, the precious contents will retain their original frozen quality on a journey from coast to coast. Actually, the refrigerator car, or reefer as railroad men call it, is a great rolling refrigerator much like your freezer at home. Diesel-driven generators furnish the electricity for the refrigeration equipment, which will maintain any desired temperature from 10 degrees below zero to 70 degrees above. The rapidly expanding increase in the popularity of frozen potatoes and other foods has put a great fleet of these Pacific Fruit Express mechanical refrigerator cars in service on the Union Pacific Railroad, transporting Western frozen products to markets all over the country. One of the greatest advances in the transportation of frozen foods is protection devices. Movable steel doors fit into slots at any desired position in the car. These dividers replace wooden bulkheads formerly used and make it impossible for the load to shift in transit. In addition, loads consigned to different destinations may be segregated by the load protection devices, eliminating the possibility of error. One of these cars has a capacity of up to 130,000 pounds of frozen product, representing economical, controlled temperature transportation at its best. When the massive doors roll shut, the car is sealed and is capable of taking care of itself without attention other than routine inspection for periods of up to 3 weeks. The metal seal guarantees the security of the cargo. A final check by a railroad man shows sufficient fuel for the diesel motor. The temperature of the car is revealed to be 5 degrees below zero, cold enough for even an Eskimo. "5 degrees below zero is the setting for frozen foods. And the diesel is singing its happy song of continued cold weather inside. These frozen potatoes will stay just as they are now in this rolling marvel of refrigerated transportation until they reach their destination. Back in the processing plant, more French fried potatoes are rolling into packages for home consumption. These potatoes are browned more than those for the restaurant trade. In the production of quality frozen foods, 2 things stand out as most important: quality control and rapid handling. Constant vigilance ensures the former, while almost complete mechanization guarantees that from the moment the French fries go into packages until that package is sealed in its final wrapping, a minimum of time will have elapsed. Mashed potatoes have taken on a new look, too. The processes by which dehydrated potatoes are changed into the magic powder that gives us those creamy, fluffy mashed potatoes almost in the wink of an eye are many and varied. No matter whether the product comes as a delicate flake or a potato powder, the final result will be the same, as millions of taste-loving Americans will testify. Restaurants, too, have discovered this shortcut to one of America's favorite dishes. And these large cans are filled for the restaurant trade in this scene of orderly, mechanized confusion. No matter in what form mashed potatoes come, the envelope that holds just enough for 2 awakens an enthusiastic response from the harried housewife, who arrives home just minutes ahead of her husband. Who said diamonds are a girl's best friend? Sliced, dehydrated potatoes create another time-saving form for this ancient vegetable. Only the water has been removed. In order to unlock the latent goodness, one has only to restore the water and cook briefly. Partially fried, these nuggets come out of the hot fat, a delicious golden color ready to be quick frozen. Diced potatoes come in both dehydrated and semi-dehydrated frozen forms. They're great for soups, chowders, and stews. Like golden popcorn, these fine particles of dehydrated potatoes are tailor-made for a variety of purposes in a wide variety of tempting dishes. Always paramount in the minds of potato processors is the idea of making their product convenient for the housewife. This unique machine has a searching eye that eliminates off-colored particles of diced potatoes. And as a last check, this guardian with a vacuum tube picks up any stragglers that may have eluded the eye. The familiar potato chip comes in a variety of forms and flavors today. Its crispy goodness has made it a universal American favorite. Improved packaging in multi-walled envelopes means improved keeping qualities, and eye-catching labels mean increased sales. The quality control laboratory of the potato processing plant is the nerve center that governs product uniformity and ensures the continuance of that special flavor you like. Tests may vary from simple observation to more elaborate testing, such as these mashed potatoes are undergoing. Other tests reveal starch content or protein level. But whatever the tests are, they are all pointed toward one common end, to further enhance the goodness of an already excellent product. Nothing beats a fine, fresh potato, and the endless displays in the vegetable departments in supermarkets across the nation are concrete testimony to this fact. Modern packaging provides eye appeal and better home storage, but there are still people who like the simple display of bulk potatoes or their individual selection by eye and by touch. No vegetable approaches the potato when it comes to processing into a variety of finished food products that staggers the imagination and promises a thrill for the taste buds. To this natural advantage is added the creative craftsmanship of packaging engineers and artists who combine shape, color, and design to produce unlimited sales appeal. Lightening the preparation work of the housewife in enabling her to produce tasty meals with a minimum of kitchen work, the many forms of processed potatoes make their contribution to modern living. There's no problem of quality or flavor once you've found the brand of your choice, for uniformity is virtually automatic in the continuing promotion of brand names that represent the expenditure of millions of dollars in progressive research to produce quality foods that lead the world in excellence. And if you like the complete protection afforded by a can, you'll find a wide variety of potatoes in favorite forms that will keep virtually forever. All the variety of preparation and excellence of flavor supplied by man's ingenuity would be without avail but for the miracle that takes place under the skin of the humble potato. Here are encompassed the unqualified virtues of flavor and nourishment that have placed the potato in a class by itself, and in the glamorous present, with modern science, have given us the new look in potatoes.